All right, what's going on, guys? This was week 2 of my meet prep, um, starting with my deadlift day on Monday. So that's going to be my sequence is kind of a deadlift focused day Monday, bench and upper body on Wednesday, and then a squat focused lower body day on Friday, and then Saturday or Sunday will be another upper body day that includes some overhead pressing and some more assistance work. Starting off though on the deadlift day, I just did some warm-up squats slash recovery squats. So I'm doing this a little different than I've done in the past. So this is my light day for squatting, where normally I would do like a few sets of 5. I'm going to be doing more sets and less reps. So like today, this was 6 sets of 2 reps with a 30-second rest in between. And so right now it's really light. I could probably do the 5s and it would not be any different really than doing the 2s. But I'm going to be building this up, of course, over the next few weeks, few months. So I'm starting really light. This is actually lower than 60% of the single I did last week. So I think it's something like 58% or whatever. But 6 sets, 2 reps, 30 seconds rest. And then the plan is just to build that up over time. Legs are still pretty sore on Monday from all the squatting that I did the previous Friday, so this was a good way to loosen up, get the soreness out, and get ready for the deadlift work, which was the meat of the workout. And this just allows me to get more, kind of first reps in, more specific to powerlifting. And then once the squats were over, went into deadlifts. Didn't film any of the warm-up sets. I went right up to kind of an over warm-up set. This is more of a volume deadlift day, but I went ahead and did a top triple at 430. Which again is not real heavy, but for where I'm at right now, it's heavy enough. The main thing for me right now is working on the changing of the grip and getting used to having my left hand supinated underneath and my right hand over the top. It's a little bit of a weak grip for me. I've never done it this way, but since the bicep injury, I kind of have to. So kind of an over warm up there. And then I went into the volume work, which today was 6 sets of 3 reps with about a minute or 2 in between. And I've got straps on for these. This would normally be speed work here, but I'm not really pulling all that fast. I'm just trying to get used to it. I'm a little wary about pulling too fast yet on that bicep. So I didn't film all the sets. I just filmed the first set and the last set. So this is the last set right here of a total of 6. And then after that, we went on to a kind of a new exercise, which is I'm calling it a contrast Romanian deadlift, which is contrast because I'm doing a 5-second eccentric. So as you notice there, I'm lowering it real slow, trying to count 5 seconds down and then coming up relatively fast. And again, I'm just trying to build some work capacity and put on some size in the hamstrings and build up some conditioning in my lower back. And so I'm going to be using these from time to time and today was 2 sets of 5 reps. I filmed both sets. But these, even at a light weight here, I think this was like 265 or something, it's fairly taxing with that long eccentric. And you could do these out of the rack. I just deadlift them up. I don't count that first one. And then from here is where I start the set of actually lowering it down. So you get tired, it's tough to stay disciplined to that 5-second eccentric, but I try to count it out in my head as I'm going down. And definitely felt these in the hamstrings for about 2 or 3 days after this workout. Definitely a different stimulus, emphasizing the eccentric in this way. And then following all the deadlift work, the Romanian deadlifts, went on to a barbell row, kind of what I call a sloppy barbell row, which is just a heavy row. Again, I'm training my back like 3 days a week. So on the deadlift day, I'm kind of doing my heavy row, and I'm really trying to go for weight here for sets of 5. So if the form is a little bit sloppy, it's okay. But I'm mainly trying to just move some weight here. I'm still able to feel it in my lats, but they're not super strict. This is about 275 here, which is about the limit for me right now for a set of 5. I've done these with, and here's I believe this was the second set. I'm not sure if I filmed all 3 or not. I think I just filmed 2. I finished with some grip work after this, but I didn't film that. And then this was Wednesday, so day 2, starting off with some bench. Kind of the same protocol here, 6 sets of 2 reps. And I did about a minute of rest in between. It was like 30 to 60 seconds in between. So I was going pretty fast here. Again, this is not very heavy for 6 sets of 2, but the plan is just kind of starting light right now and build up my work capacity and start light, and I'll work up heavier over time. Trying to get a nice long pause in each one of them. We'll work on a good bar path and just keep these aren't really dynamic effort, but I am trying to focus on speed as much as possible. And then here on the last set, this was actually a 7th set. I just kind of repped the weight out, and I did a rest pause style set, so kind of a DC style, if you guys are familiar with the DC style of training, kind of a DC rest pause style. Again, just a good way to kind of put on some muscle. So I think I got 9 on the first set, and then what I'm doing is I'm resting about 20 seconds and then getting 2 more. So I'm hitting a point of failure 3 times. There's 3 failure points in this set. So with just like 20 seconds of rest, I got like 9 and then 2 and 2. So it's a total of about 13 reps. And this is just a kind of a favorite methodology of putting on muscle mass, just taking that muscle a little bit past the point of failure for a couple of mini sets. If you guys don't know who Dante Trudell is or what DC style training is, you go look it up. So it's not something I use all the time, but definitely there's some good ideas in there that you can borrow. And then second exercise of the day after all the benching, moved into some weighted dips. The goal here was 3 sets of 8. I'm only using a 25-pound weight here, but that's about all I can handle today. The shoulder is still a little bit aggravated, recovering from the injury, but it's feeling way better on the dips. I believe I got 8 on the first set, and then I think on the other 2 sets I got 7, and then I had to rest about 10 or 15 seconds and finish off to 8. So when I do dips, usually I kind of have a planned rep goal that I want to achieve, and then I achieve it no matter what. So if I come up a rep or 2 short on any set. So like today I wanted to get 8 reps in, so if I only get 7, I'll just pause there for a minute or so, or a few seconds or so. You see, I'll just kind of count my head to 10 or 15 or something like that, and then go back and get that extra rep. It's a taxing way to train, but you can get away with it on the body weight stuff and the upper body stuff. It's not too bad to recover from. I try to do these with as much of a forward lean as I can, and I like to get a really deep stretch at the bottom because I'm really trying to hit my chest with these. These are definitely, you know, a lot of guys call these squats for the upper body because they work so much muscle mass, but on this one I'm really trying to hit my chest with this because that's the area where I'm trying to build up more muscle mass. And so I want to get that deep stretch and that forward lean in there. A more upright posture or more of a, and partial reps are going to hit a lot more of the tricep. And then from the dips, I moved on to a new movement. This is a brand new movement for me. This is a dumbbell fly, which I used to do a lot of flies, and then I kind of got away from them for a while. You know, it's just it's a way to kind of isolate the chest. Again, I'm trying to put a lot of work on my chest to try to build some muscle mass up there over the next few months. And I had these recommended to me, and I've always been kind of skeptical of them because they don't get as much of a stretch as like a fly on a flattered incline bench, and I always liked them for the stretch. But this was really effective, and I'm definitely going to keep these in the program. These just lit up my chest from one end to the other. It was kind of a surprise of how much I felt these, and no pain in the shoulder or anywhere else doing these. These really just hammered the chest. I got 12 on that first set, and then on the other sets, again, I wanted to get 12 on every set. That was my goal. I wasn't able to get 12 in a row on all of them, so I think on the second set I did like 9, and then I rested for a few seconds, and then went back and got 3 more, and then did something similar on the third set. I think I did like 8 and 4. Again, it's not really, you know, flies are not really a strength movement directly, but what I'm trying to do here is, again, just trying to build up muscle mass. After the surgery and after the really long layoff, I just had a lot of atrophy, especially in the upper body, my chest, my back, shoulders, you know, everywhere. You know, having one arm completely immobilized in that sling, it kind of took a toll on me. So I'm trying to build all this stuff back up, and you know, some of these movements do a really good job, kind of bodybuilding type movements of building up muscle mass. So these will probably be in the program for a while. And then as I get closer to the competition, then some of this stuff might find its way out of the program. Once the muscle mass has been built, it's a little easier to maintain with a little bit less volume. But for right now, I definitely got to crank up the volume and use a lot of assistance movements to build that muscle mass back up. Kind of gassed out there around 8, so took a short rest, and then I think I finished out with 4 more. I was definitely feeling these for a few days afterwards. Then following the flies, again, I'm trying to train my back real often, so I did the real heavy barbell rows on Monday after the deadlift. So I went into some more back work today. This is more of a strict style. This is just a prone dumbbell row, which really hits the rear delts hard in the mid back, maintaining that arch right there in the mid back. While you do these, you just have nothing but lat to pull with, and so these are pretty good, and they don't put any wear and tear on your low back. So I did I think 3 sets of about 8 reps here. You have to kind of elevate the bench a little bit in order to, you'll see the bench is kind of stacked on some stuff there, and that's just so you get a better stretch at the bottom. Otherwise, the dumbbells will hit the floor before your arms and your lats are fully extended, and you want to get a good stretch there at the bottom on the lats. Last set here. And then following the rows, went into another lat exercise, went into a close grip, V-grip, pull down. So I'm doing the pull downs right now twice a week. Today's a heavier day. So these are like 6 reps here, 6 to 8 reps. I'm not sure how many sets I filmed, but these were like 6 to 8 reps on the pull down machine here. And then on Saturday, my other lat day, I'm doing the higher reps of like 10 to 15 reps. I'm just trying to get as much work as possible and, again, build up my upper back size and strength. I really like these V-grip pull downs. And if you'll notice, I pull the V-grip down to the upper abs. So if you guys are doing these, pull these down to the upper abs and not to your collarbone, and you'll feel them a lot more in the lower lats. And when you use a straight bar for your wide grip pull downs, pull those down to your collarbone, and you'll get a better contraction on your lats when you do it that way. But on these V-grips, you get the most out of them when you pull them down to the lower chest and the upper abs. You'll really hammer those lower lat attachments. And we'll also use these for the good stretch at the top. And then finish the day with 3 sets of dumbbell extensions paused on the floor. These pauses, where you bring them to a dead stop on the floor, make it quite a bit more difficult than where you use a stretch reflex. So I was just trying to find a comfortable spot to start from. So if you notice, you start on pause, not real long, just a second or two, and don't bounce them off the floor. You just want to, just for a beat, just 1, 2, and then up right there, just to kind of kill that stretch reflex. And these started off pretty good, and then they died out really hard towards the end of the workout. I wound up doing 3 sets. I think these were like 35s or 40s. And then at the end, I died out really hard. I had to do like a little drop set down to the 20s in order to get all my reps in. Didn't make it that far on that set. And same thing, I use the rest pause method here, just taking a few seconds in between to try to finish out the set. But when these things go, they pretty much go. It's hard to grind out any additional reps. You just kind of are going, and then all of a sudden you're not anymore. This was the last set. Fuck is right. It got hard. I only got 5 on that set, so I dropped down to 20s and repped out a few more. Then this was Friday's workout, so this was my squat workout. Did all my warm-up sets, and then worked up to a top set at 405 just for a triple. Not maximum effort, but kind of an over warm-up before I did my speed work for the day. So I like going and get that one heavy set and then coming down and doing the speed work. And so speed work today was 8 sets of 3 reps. Kind of my top set for the day there, just to feel something a little heavy on the back. And then I believe I just filmed the first and the last set of the speed work. So this was set number 1 out of 8 sets of 3 reps at 315. Set 1, and then this is set 8. Apparently I had lost my hat by this point in the workout. Went on about a minute of rest here, minute and a half on some of them. And, weight never really got heavy, but it does get tiring, especially trying to move the weight fast. By the time you get to that 8th set, you're sucking for a little bit of wind, and the legs are starting to burn a little bit. So finished my speed sets here, and then just kept 315 on the bar, and I finished with 2 triples of a 3 to 5 second pause squat, and then I did 2 sets here. So it actually made for 11 sets of squats on the day. $11 triples. This was the second set of pause squats, final set of squats for the day. I was ready to be done. And then finished with 3 sets of leg curls, just for some additional hamstring work. These were, I'm keeping these pretty heavy. Trying to keep the eccentric fairly slow. And then take real short rest in between sets. And then this was Saturday morning. Actually, this was a tough workout because it was like 6 a.m. on Saturday, but I had a bunch of shit to do that day, so it was the only time it was going to happen. And started with the press. Again, I'm doing the time singles, so I think these might have been the last 5. I can't remember, but basically what I'm trying to do is 15 singles, I'm doing 15 singles on a on about a 20-second rest in between each one. And so if you do that, it gives you 15 fairly quick reps in a span of about 5 minutes. So you're getting a pretty decent training density in there. And these do get tough. After a while, that racking and then unracking the bar and doing the single like that, it starts to add up. I think that was number 15. And then moved on to some more lat work for the week. So these are the higher rep lat work days. So I just filmed one set here. And this was 5 sets of 10 to 15 reps with a wider overhand pull-up. And then from there, after 5 sets there, I did 3 sets on the seated row machine. This is using the rear delt grip, so this is really trying to hit the upper back and the rear delts. And especially on the right side, this area of my back just completely shriveled up after being in the sling. So I'm trying to give it some attention during this training cycle. Did 3 sets of 15 here. And then after the lat work and the rear delt work was over, moved into the close grip bench. So all the pulling stuff kind of gives me a little bit of rest from the presses. And then I'm finishing the session off with some close grip bench. Today was 3 sets of 6 reps. This was the final set. I just filmed 1 set. This was the last set of 6. I always fade out pretty fast on these. The first set moved pretty fast. Felt like I could have done 8 or 9, and then the final set always slows down quite a bit. I never had good endurance on these. So. And that was week 2, guys. So I appreciate you watching, and let me know if you have questions or comments in the comment section below. And as always, if you want to read any of my blog material, you can go to andybaker.com. I got tons of free articles and lots of affordable training programs for you to download there. So, all right, talk to you next week.